Women's trouser cutting and sewing made very simple. Hello, you are welcome back to House of Ada, and please subscribe if you are new to my channel. Let's get into the video. This is the women trousers that I'm going to be cutting today. And before I start cutting on the fabric, I want to show you the illustration on the paper here. This is going to be my waist, and as you can see, it's going to be 2 inches band on the waist here. So when you are measuring, you measure round your waist. This is the pocket, so this pocket 1 and pocket 2, and this is the hip. You measure the hip length, your knee, the thigh, or you call it lap. So these are the places you would measure when you are making a trouser. You will measure from your waist to the center of your leg, and it's called the flap. So this is the flap, the knee, the ankle. You will measure around the ankle, and then you measure from the waist to the ankle, and that is going to give you the full length of the trousers. So this is what we are looking at now, and I would go ahead and we draft the pattern on the fabric. So this is going to be my waist. So I cut out 1 inch. I will mark out 1 inch here, and this is going to be my waist, the waist of the trouser. I am cutting on the back, so this is the front part of the fabric, so I'm cutting on the back. From here to 9, this would be my hip line. Down to 19, my knee, and my flap is 10. But when making your flap, I will mark it at 9. So when I draw it to connect to this place, it will still give me 10. So it's 9 with my hip line. So with your ruler, you extend the lines. So the full length, I will make it 39 inches. So this is 39, and I will add the 2 inches turning up to be 41. This is the front pattern that I am making first. I come to the waist and I mark out 3 inches here. Some people they mark out 2, some they mark out 4. I'm using my pattern, and this has worked for me. So I place my meter rule here and I connect it down to this one. But your flap is not straight, so this is my point of connection. From here, just about 1 inch away, and then 1 inch away from here too. So from here you curve it. My waist is 39 inches. 39 divided by 4. I'm dividing by 4 because you have 2 legs, but you are cutting into 4 pieces. So one side of your leg is 2. On my waist here is 39. 39 divided by 4 is 9.7. So I'll make it 9.5. I'm going to make it like English sewing, so I don't need too much allowance, just 1 inch sewing allowance. The hip is, so from this point of connection, this is where you mark your hip, this number 9 here. So my hip is 44 by 4 is 9, 44 by 4 is 11. I mark 11 and I add my 1 inch sewing allowance. So this is the line I will mark, and this. So when you come to this area now, you have to mark it down like this. You have marked it down like this. just like a cone. So you slant it down gradually, and then on the lap and the tie is 26. 26 by 2 is 13. I have my 13, and I would still have my 1 inch sewing allowance. And then I go to the ankle. The ankle is 14. 14 by 2, I will say 7. I still add my 1 inch sewing allowance. So there is something I'm going to mark here. When you get to the ankle here, so instead of slanting it inwards, I will make the line straight. The reason being that when I turn this up, it's not going to affect here, so all of them can be the same. So it's straight here and straight here as well. And from here, I'm going to connect the point and then put it down to this place. With my meter rule, I'm going to draw not just a slant line. I would make sure it's not straight, so I'm slanting it like this, and I will draw to connect to this place. And when it comes to this place, you see, I'm going to curve around here, so to the hip, and then to meet with my waist here. So you can add half an inch here and add half an inch seam allowance here. So as I've added 1 here, I don't need to add any half and half here. So I'll cut this out. So as I have cut the front pattern, I'm going to use this to trace the back, and it's going to be easier. To cut out the back pattern, I placed the front one on top of my fabric, and I placed it on the back part as well, so I can easily draw on the back. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to trace out. The only place I am going to add something is the back, because the women, we have bum, both women and men, so we have bum bigger on the back side. I'll add 2.5 inches from this line. This is where the front ended, so from here I'm going to add 2.5 inches extra. So this is 2.5. From here I will just slant it down, so that by the time it comes to the end here, it's going to be just 1 inch bigger. So I'll take it down. And this is the only thing. And when it comes to the front part here, I will just trace out the back to be straight, and then the front one, I'm going to slant it in, because your front is meant to be lower because of our body build, the belly. So I'll trim off half an inch here, but when it comes to the part here, they would still be the same. So I trim off the excess of the front part, and then the back is going to be higher, and this is the back, and here they would still be the same.
Sorry, the camera couldn't show this properly. I'm going to do better in my next video when making patterns. Thank you.
The next thing I would do now is to place this back to back and cut out this, and place this to the other side and cut it out, making it 4 pieces. Went ahead and I've done the cutting. So this is the back panel, this is the two piece of the back one. So the right face is facing to the right face together, and you fold this and you keep it aside. And this is the front panel, is two piece. This is the front part and this is the back. So I fold my front panel and I keep it aside. To make the band, you measure your waist, and my waist is 39. I cut out a piece of fabric that is 41 inches by 3 inches. So my waist is 39, but when you add the hook, you need extra 1.5 inches on your waist with the same allowance. What I have to do now is I will iron on this plates on my band to make it stiff, and it will look better than ironing it just and sewing like this. After ironing on my waistband, so to make it easier, I will fold in 1/2 inch here and here. You fold in 1/2 inch. This will make your sewing easier. And then finally you fold it over like this. So when you fold, you make sure that one is a bit longer. So here would be at the back and here would be on the front part. It's ready, I keep it aside. For my pocket, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of fabric that is 8 inches by 6.5. 6.5, not up to 7, 6.5 inches. At the edge here, I will mark out 1.5 and I will slant it like this. This is my pocket. To cut the trouser flap, so I'm going to cut that from the pieces of the fabric that I already have, making sure that I'm cutting on the back side. So this is where the zip is going to stay. So I will mark out 8 inches and by 2. And you curve it like this. Then remember it's going to be 2, so the zip will rest on one and the other one would be used to close it. So this is your flap, and that is the end of the cutting of the women's trouser pattern. If you got a value from this video, please do not forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And the next video we are going to go into the sewing.